Organic content, organic marketing is the foundation of it all. I always advise my clients and businesses that come to me that before you even start running paid ads, have some form of, at least have a good number of organic content, right, before you start running ads.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's segment right here on the Product and Packaging Powerhouse. I am your show host, Megan Young Gamble, along with my new co host, Amaya, joining you for today's conversation with our featured powerhouse guest. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just say in this episode, we are going to be highlighting everything around digital marketing. And we also have a featured powerhouse that is international. So she's going to be sharing some techniques and some tips with us, working with international brands and things that we must consider. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to have our featured powerhouse guest, Viola Ekene, who is definitely a global marketing, a digital marketing strategist, and also a beauty tech enthusiast. So she has over 7 years of experience and she has worked with brands worldwide, transforming scattered marketing efforts into high converting data driven strategies. So, we're going to talk about what's the data driven strategies, okay? So she is also the CEO of her beauty and wellness marketing agency called Social Butterfly Haven. And she also operates as a fractional CMO. So we're going to get into all the tea right here on the Product and Packaging Powerhouse. So make sure you do follow, like, and subscribe to all of our platforms so you don't miss this conversation and you don't miss any of our other episodes that drop. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the conversation with our featured powerhouse, Ms. Viola Ekene. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, likewise. And I'm so excited to have an international marketing strategist and beauty tech enthusiast that's joining us for the conversation as well, because I think it's always great to hear insights of what's happening in other countries and also how to leverage them into other markets and other, like here in the US, we want brands they want to launch in the UK, go into Africa like Fenty Beauty did. So I would love to hear your perspective, from, what it means for digital marketing. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we get into it, I would love for you to introduce yourself, to the audience, who you are, where you're located, and how you got started in the digital marketing space.
Okay, thank you so much, Megan. My name is Viola Ekene, and the way that I got into digital marketing, especially for beauty and wellness brands and businesses, is not quite expected, right? So, a few years ago, I was working at a radio station. I was an on-air personality at a radio station. So, I was a newscaster, a reporter, and a presenter. So, I had two on-air shows. One of the shows was called Beauty Hub. So on Beauty Hub, what I did was review and talk about trends in the beauty industry, leveraging insights from campaigns, launches, and also I had a segment of the show where I interviewed business owners, especially specifically beauty business owners, where they shared what they knew, what they're working on, the innovation they're working on, product launches. And at that time as well, I was also running. That was when blogging was very popular. I had my own 4C natural hair care blog. So I was pretty much, all things beauty. I just really loved it. So when I was working as an OAP and with my conversation in the interviews with beauty businesses around the world, I realized I saw a common problem in all of them. A lot of them lacked the knowledge and the direction on how to leverage digital marketing, especially social media, to reach their audiences online. That was also when a lot of brands were really hopping on social media and leveraging digital marketing channels to reach and connect better with their audiences. So it was, as at that time as well, from putting out content on my blog, promoting my blog on social media. I didn't know that I was honing basic digital marketing skills like copywriting, because my articles were ranking on first pages of Google. They were also doing very well on Pinterest. So I didn't know I was honing skills like copywriting, content marketing, leveraging data, because then I would look at my blog, I would see, okay, what articles are doing well, what to keyword optimize, things like that. So I was honing those skills without knowing. So when I saw this particular problem, and a lot of these beauty businesses started consulting me from, the knowledge that I had then on how to use social media to get more visibility, I started offering them services in digital marketing. That time as well, I also had my email list. I had people that were very interested in my blog. So I was also honing my email marketing skills, using MailChimp. That was one MailChimp, and ConvertKit. I was using those tools. So that was how I ventured into beauty and wellness marketing. And from there, I grew as well. And then I started my beauty and wellness marketing agency 4 years ago, so that I would be able to, give out more structured services to brands that are now in the scaled stages. So that's pretty much how my journey started, and yeah, and we are here today.
I
Yeah.
love that. And there's a couple of things that you mentioned that I want to go a little bit deeper into, which is first, a lot of, I'm just like you. I came into the beauty wellness space by accident. So my practice is project management and I have a degree in chemistry. So when I came into the world of beauty, it was purely accident. And it seemed like yours was as well when you started working for a radio station for the respective segment that talked about all things beauty, and that led into you having the blog. So, based upon your experience working at the news station as a newscaster, what are things that you well, let me start here. Let me start here. From your experience working in the news station at the radio station, what did you learn and how did digital marketing change for what you do now to what it was when you started at the radio station? Let's start there.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the first part of your question. What has really changed from then till now? So obviously now, then a lot of brands were still very reluctant to invest in digital marketing. They didn't really see how important digital marketing was until a lot of the bigger brands started using it, and then you would see annual marketing reports and how much these brands were generating on social media. So a lot of them were still quite reluctant, but now we have a lot of beauty businesses. In fact, when you're discussing with a beauty business owner who is maybe in the early stages of starting their brand, they would always say social media or digital marketing or email marketing. I have to use digital marketing. It's now almost a muscle memory for a lot of people. I have to use social media, I have to use digital marketing. But then it wasn't. People always thought of, when they think of how to reach their customers, they were only thinking of the local area they live in or the particular country they live in. So that's pretty much the difference that I've seen from then up until now. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's something really big to know because digital marketing has evolved to where it is now. But to your point, a lot of people were reluctant to utilize that market or those platforms to really get more visibility to their brands. And so I want to hit on this so you can take us to the basics first before we go a little bit deeper into different strategies. So, with the evolution of digital marketing and how it's now being leveraged, tell us a little bit more about, first off, the basics. What is encompassed within digital marketing? Let's start there first.
What is what?
Digital marketing.
Okay, digital marketing is just like the name, digital marketing, using digital means to reach your customers and your target audience. So, leveraging digital platforms. So, what are these digital platforms? We now talk of social platforms, for instance. We have social media marketing, and then you have your marketing strategies and your marketing efforts on major social media platforms that your target audience spend most of their time on. And then another digital channel is email marketing, where you are able to nurture your customers and segment them according to their customer journeys. That's email marketing. And then there is the advertising side of it as well, where you have your ads, you have your Meta ads, you have your Snapchat ads, you have YouTube ads and the rest, your Google ads. And then you also have the influencer marketing and the UGC marketing aspect. So this is, when you say digital marketing, this is essentially what comes to mind. Using digital channels to reach your target audience and gain visibility and conversion for your business. Yeah.
Okay. And I appreciate you going to the basics, because as we're peeling back the onion of digital marketing, the next question is, since we understand like leveraging the digital platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, other platforms, to email marketing and then advertising as well, what are some other platforms that beauty brands should be leveraging that they may not even know about?
This one is a bit slopey. It would work for just a small percentage of beauty brands, especially beauty brands that the core value of their brand is disruption and building community. So I don't know if you've heard of Substack. So Substack is a platform that I love so much. That is why I said that it's not for every beauty brand, and that's okay, right? Especially and I mentioned also it's for brands that want to be disruptive, that are changing a narrative, that want to build a community, that for them personally, it's not just about I want to sell products. Maybe they are on a different other mission. They want to highlight a particular problem in the society that their brand, a social cause that they are dedicated to. They can use Substack through Substack newsletters. Substack has also evolved to a platform that you don't just only write now. You can go live on Substack. You can build a very close niche community. When you think Substack, you think community nurturing, having those conversations. So Substack is a pretty good platform. I'm seeing some brands hop on it, but not a lot of beauty brands. So that is why I said it's not something that, someone comes to me now, beauty business comes to me and like, I have to hop on Substack. I would have to ask a lot of questions to be sure that you understand, that this is not going to be where you hop in and it's like Instagram and all that. No. So Substack is a very good platform. And also, in addition to that, really hopping on the social media platform should be dependent on who your ideal target audience is. What social media platforms are they mostly active on? If you're, for instance, if your target audience is Twitter, you have no business being active on Twitter unless you want to be active on Twitter primarily for brand awareness and you have the budget allocation for that, then that's fine. But if you're a business and you're really focused on maximizing whatever you're putting or investing in your marketing, then you should kick off with social media platforms where your target audience spend most of their time on. That is where you're able to get better ROI for your marketing. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. And to your point with Substack, I found out about it probably about a year and a half ago, just seeing like different people I was subscribed to, how they convert or migrated from like ConvertKit, MailChimp to Substack, and there's different specialties that they may fall within as well, but to your point, a lot of people aren't familiar with Substack and how to leverage it. And it requires a lot of intentional strategy and thought to really think about if Substack is the appropriate platform for you to leverage, for your brand, or if you should stick with other email marketing platforms, or, what that looks like. But it ultimately depends upon the goal, like you mentioned. So I want to also ask you like your perspective on, how to leverage like Google with like their analytics and, tracking and traceability of the brand to see how the brand is growing, and visibility as well. Cause you were a blogger and you talked about how you grew your email list from blogging, as well, from your experience working at the radio station. So share with us of how brands can leverage Google or any other search engine optimization, SEO platforms as part of like their effective digital marketing strategy.
Okay, so I'm going to kick off with Google Analytics, right? Google Analytics is very, very important. And Google Analytics has also evolved to very intelligent reporting in terms of not just on did someone convert on the website? Things like how long someone spent on a page on your website, what type of content did they spend more time on, what kind of products are they likely to purchase. The AI now in Google Analytics reporting makes all that possible. And that is why I love tech in beauty, because tech in beauty really puts the customer data at the forefront. So with Google Analytics, all those things are tracked, and it's very important as a business that you have Google Analytics installed, because I always say that if you're running a business and you don't start being intentional about gathering data from day one, then you're going to run blind for a very long period of time. So Google Analytics helps you to track important metrics that are important for your business. And when I mean important, it really just depends on the goal that you want to achieve in a particular season of your business. For if in a particular season of your business you're more focused on brand awareness, then you focus on metrics that help you track how much brand awareness that you're getting from your other social media platforms. How are people coming to your website? Are they coming more from social media? Are they coming more from your ads? If they're coming more from social media, then you should, look at your social media analytics, for instance, on Instagram, to see what kind of content is performing better, what kind of content is driving or sparking conversations, and then fuel more of that. So that is how Google Analytics would help you. It helps you. Google Analytics is like the central aspect of your digital marketing, where you're able to see, okay, the goal that I want to achieve, which of my marketing efforts are pulling in conversion, are pulling in leads, are pulling in traffic. Then if you see that, okay, I see that most of my conversions are coming from email marketing, then you can go look at your email marketing analytics and see what to improve or get better. So this is how Google Analytics can really, really help a business. And then when it comes to search engine optimization or key, has when it comes to like having your articles rank on Google, it has really evolved now. Before then, it was just about create a good blog article, make sure you keyword optimize, and publish it. Then Google, crawls your website, and if it's relevant, you start ranking and all of that. But now with the advent of AI, more and more people are resorting to AI or tools like ChatGPT as their first search, so you would notice that a lot of these social media platforms and platforms in response to that are making their social media platforms more search engine friendly. So for instance, that is why it's always advisable that apart from your own content marketing efforts on your blog as a business, when you're posting content on social media, keyword optimize it. If you Google some things now, social media posts now show up as search results, right? Discovery comes through that means. If you're making a post on TikTok, for instance, keyword optimize it, not just in the caption or in your hashtags, but the content in itself, the text that appear on the video. This is how it helps the algorithm of this platform understand what your content is about and is able to categorize it and push it to people that would be interested in that type of content. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is when you're looking at keyword optimization or search engine optimization as a whole, as a business, don't just look at it as, okay, I have to only optimize my website so that my blog articles can rank. Also look at it from the perspective of it being a 360-degree marketing effort. Whatever you're putting out there, should be keyword optimized. Right from the one Pinterest pins, for instance, show on Google. Right now, like I said, Instagram, TikTok will show on Google. So you have to think keyword optimization first. What are the keywords that my target audience are going to use to find a business like me? Use that consistently in your captions, in the titles of your video, just for more discoverability. Yeah.
Oh, like, see, that's a whole masterclass just in reference of Google Analytics and
Yes.
also how to leverage like the keyword optimization based upon where
Yeah.
your audience is coming from, who your target audience is. Like, that's a whole masterclass. And I
Thank
know
you.
you have a learning university as well through Social Butterfly Haven that I
Yeah.
want us to talk about here shortly. But to your point with Google Analytics, it's so much involved. Like, even for me, it gets overwhelming to look at the Google Analytics and how we're tracking those things and tracing it back to which modality is working for our push communications and digital marketing platforms, et cetera. So and I'm still learning it. I'll be honest, like Google, all the digital marketing aspects, I'm like, I know it, but that's not my forte. I stick to packaging and project management. That is my area of genius. Just like digital marketing is your area of genius. And that's why you're here. So we're having the conversation. So I want us to go back to where you talked more, as we were talking about the metrics, how we're looking at the modalities and seeing where your customers are coming from and seeing which modalities and platforms to really leverage more and looking at the analytics like in your email marketing platform. So my question to you is what other metrics should brands be really looking at, as part to know if they have an effective digital marketing strategy?
Okay, so the metrics that you should be looking at are highly dependent on your goal in a particular season of your business. So, why do I say your goal in a particular season? So, there are different goals. If for a particular season, maybe let's say in the next 4 months, you're really focusing on brand awareness, more visibility, more reach, right? Then there are metrics to track to see the success rate of that particular goal. If your goal is conversion, making sales, there are metrics to track to see the success of that goal. So if it's getting leads, if it's getting inquiries, there are metrics to track. So for a goal like brand awareness, you're going to be tracking things like reach, number of views, how many people saw the particular content or digital marketing effort that you're making. So these are the things that you're tracking under brand awareness, right? So a goal like conversion, you're tracking click-through rates, how many people clicked through a particular link, even if they did not make a purchase, how many people clicked through that particular link. So with your Google Analytics, you're able to see more detail of where, after the person clicked the link, where they stopped before they finally left your website, right? So you're looking at click-through purchases, you're looking at checkouts, you're looking at your sales, you're also looking at, the percentage of people that are asking more or wanting to know more about a particular product or service that you're offering. So that's for is a goal like conversion. So if for a goal like, you want to have people, you want engagement, so you're tracking things like your comments, you're tracking saves, right? So like I said earlier, the metrics you track depend on a particular goal. You don't just start tracking metrics. You have to define a goal that you're looking at and say, okay, these are the KPIs or key performance indicators that would help me know if I'm doing well, if I'm nearing achievement of this goal or not. So yes.
Oh, we see that's a whole nother masterclass. So I hope you offer that as part of your digital learning suite as well, because to your point, if you're leveraging, I'll just use my own examples. LinkedIn is our number one platform that we use to leverage based upon our ideal client and the audience base. So we're looking at the analytics on LinkedIn. How many saves do we have? The impressions, the views, how many people are reading our newsletters that are on LinkedIn? How are we converting them from LinkedIn to our platforms to be in our ecosystem? And that requires a whole strategy just for that one. But the strategy is not the same for our LinkedIn like it is for Instagram, because it's a
Yes.
different audience and different customer mix and different algorithms and all the things. So we have to do a different strategy. So when brands come to you and say, hey, Viola, we want to leverage Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Pinterest, because you talked about Pinterest, and that's one of my goals for digital marketing as well, to link our blogs. And they say, we want to be on those platforms, but we want the same strategy. What would you recommend to them before implementation across all those platforms?
Okay, so first of all, I would ask for very important information like I need to understand who your target audience are. Can I see your ideal target audience personas, like personas? I need to see persona one. I need to see personas across different types of people. Like I want to see your target audience. I want to understand them. Then when I look at and I understand your goal, your brand values, your target audience, I'm able to recommend the right platforms for you. So I see, for instance, my discovery calls as a consultation, as a diagnosis. I call it, I diagnose your brand and I diagnose your needs, because sometimes business owners, a lot of business owners in general, sometimes your eyes are so much on your competitor, right? And when your eyes are so much on your competitor, you don't know when you subconsciously want to do what they are doing. So sometimes when they come to me based on the research that they have done, and they say, oh, I need this service, I want to be on all these social media platforms. When I have analyzed them and I've asked them a lot of questions, a good number of questions, I'm able to say, okay, you don't actually need to be on LinkedIn. You don't need to be on Twitter, because your ideal audience does not hang out much on that social media platform. They don't make purchasing decisions on that platform. You only need to be on these and these social media platforms. And then when they say that, okay, I want a strategy that cuts across all the social media platforms. So the thing is that when you're preparing a marketing strategy, the foundational strategy that links all your marketing efforts, that one is there, right? And then there's a strategy that is unique to each type of digital marketing. So I'm going to use social media marketing. If I'm providing a strategy for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, right? In the strategy, obviously, there is going to be a foundational one that, okay, no matter what we do, this is the goal that should cut across the three platforms. But what I would always recommend to them is that no, you need an entirely different approach for Instagram. You need a different approach for TikTok, because the psychographic of Instagram users are not the same with TikTok users. It's a different terrain altogether. So yeah.
Well, so it's so many things to consider, and I'm sure as part of your diagnosis call, which is more of a consultative call, with the clients, I think that's something really profound, and it requires brands to really get back to the basics. Who is
Yeah.
your ideal client? What do they read? Really going deep into like their demographics and also like their incomes and such to really know which platforms are advantageous. Because like for me, people like get on TikTok. Me personally, I should be on TikTok. However, it's another platform for us to learn, and it's
Mm-hmm.
another platform that we have to really curate and really craft the right strategy. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
on there enough to really be leveraging it, to be honest. But LinkedIn is our number one platform, and
Mm-hmm.
previously it was Instagram. So we've had to change our strategy, as our ideal client has changed too, and our customer mix has changed, and the services that we offer has changed, or products for brands have possibly changed depending upon what's the key benefit, or how is it solving that pain point or that need for your end consumer. So platforms may change. Some people may say we're going to start on Instagram and then we're going to TikTok, or we were on Facebook and Twitter, now we're going to Snapchat. I think WhatsApp now has stories and stuff like that, so
Mm-hmm.
you can push communications there, because I think that's another digital marketing strategy that people may not be using if they're having groups, subscriptions, etc. Just like SMS programs, as well as part of digital marketing. So to your point, I think it requires a lot of strategy at the end of the day, depending upon who your ideal client is, how the product that you offer as a beauty brand or wellness brand may offer to the ideal client, and where are they located too, because you work with brands worldwide. So
Mm-hmm.
where a brand, may be focused on one aspect in Nigeria, so another may be different in London versus
Yeah.
here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I am in the US. So it really requires understanding geographics as well for brands.
Yeah.
So speaking of targeting like different geographical areas, a lot of brands are really leveraging paid ads at that, as part of their strategy, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok. So, and you mentioned about advertising from your experience at the radio station to even at your respective agency looking at ads. So, would you recommend using paid ads as part of an effective strategy for brands? And if so, how do you balance building that organic content also alongside of the paid ads on the various platforms?
Okay, okay. So paid ads are very, very important. It's an amazing way to quickly, reach newer audiences, gain more visibility. But organic content, organic marketing is the foundation of it all. I always advise my clients and businesses that come to me that before you even start running paid ads, have some form of, at least have a good number of organic content right, before you start running ads. So I always use this as an example. So I'm going to use social media, for instance, social media marketing. You're a new business, you launch, you just create your Instagram page and you start running ads. No, you have to set your house in order first. Because if I come across your ad on Instagram, the first thing I will do intuitively is to click to see your profile. And then when I come across your profile and I go through your page, there is nothing there that aligns with the ad that you're doing. Nothing there to retain me to even want to click the follow button, get interested, and finally make a purchase or to make a purchase immediately. So organic content is like setting your house in order. It is the foundation you need for high converting paid ads. And organic content is what is also going to nurture the traffic you're generating from your paid ads, because people's attention span are short. You're not the only brand vying for their attention. So when they come across you, maybe the ad creative was great, and then you see that ad, sometimes you see an ad, you're like, oh, this is fun. And then when you check their page, when you check them out, you're like, boring. Like, I was expecting something better. So you have to set your house in order before you start running paid ads. And even when you're running paid ads, you have to also keep up with your organic content. And your organic content actually also helps you to build a community. It also helps you with consistency. It helps you to also product educate. It helps you to also reiterate your brand values as a business over and over. So organic content and paid ads are very important. They have to work hand in hand. You cannot neglect one over the other. You cannot overdo one over the other. There has to be an equal balance between the two for a better ROI. Yeah.
And that goes back to, like you mentioned, the foundation of the
Yeah.
house has to be in order. And if
Yeah.
you have the foundation of a solid foundation, you're able to build upon that. So that's where the organic content is the foundation, the goals, the ideal clients, etc. That's the foundational aspect to then build the ads and the platforms and the understanding the goals and how they all align to then meet at the peak, which is the roof,
Yeah.
which is pushing out to the content to your clients and how they're receptive of it to ultimately purchase the products, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're all in business, is for somebody to purchase our products or services as well. So, we talked about creating content. We talked about what digital marketing is and some best practices, metrics, to track for success. I want to ask you, what are some common mistakes you've seen brands make when it comes to digital marketing?
Okay, the common one I see is focusing on aesthetics over actual good content that will resonate on your target audience. It has reduced a bit now, but around the year 2020, 21, 22, there was this obsession with aesthetic, especially the beige aesthetic, or brands wanting to have their Instagram feed looking a certain way, the aesthetics. And then when you now come to a brand's, you want to check out the brand, maybe their website, the aesthetic is beautiful, but there's nothing that really connects. That is one major mistake a lot of brand makes, and a lot of brands still make that now. They want to look so aesthetic, but the core work, which is your brand positioning, how you're going to connect with your audience, they don't do that. Another mistake that I see a lot of brands and businesses make is tracking the wrong metrics, or essentially not even gathering data as a priority. Yeah, taking not gathering data as a priority, and it makes me so sad because let's say on a discovery call, I'm asking a business some questions that they are supposed to know the answers to. If they are looking at their data analytics, they don't know it. And when I say data analytics, they are not very difficult things to do. There are things like, for instance, I'll use social media marketing. Like, right, if you're posting consistently on social media, at the end of the month, go to your Instagram insights, look at the analytics there. What are your audience resonating more with? What are they looking at more? What kind of content is resonating more with them? They're not looking at this data. They don't understand the vibe, the energy of their target audience. And I use the word vibe and energy because a huge part of marketing is connecting emotionally to your audience. A lot of brands still miss that. And then another mistake that I would say that a lot of businesses make is not prioritizing digital marketing right from the start. right? There are some businesses that it's an afterthought for them, okay? And when they now start to see that, okay, their competitors are doing well, they now want very big results within a short period of time, forgetting that the competitor, these results they're getting, it took them probably 2 years of consistency to get to that point where they are at the moment. So not taking digital marketing serious from day one, looking at it as an afterthought, overly focusing on I want my product to be good. Yeah, your product has to be good, yeah. But you have to also make sure that there is a product market fit. You have plans and you have the budget, to really invest in your digital market. It can be an afterthought. Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? I'll go ahead and be honest because, guys, listeners, if you listen to our other segments, very raw, open, and transparent. So I've looked at digital marketing as an afterthought, because I was like, I need to have the aesthetics in place. It needs to be pretty. We focus on packaging. So it needs to correlate to the type of services we offer, for like product packaging design efforts, we just want to focus on the work, instead of, like you said, having digital marketing be part of the beginning, the foundation, like you mentioned earlier at the beginning. So I'll be honest and say that that was something that I considered as an afterthought. And then when I did realize that we needed to focus on it, for my firm, I was like, oh crap. Like there's so many areas to look at that, and a lot of missed opportunities. We weren't tracking for this area. We weren't tracking for that area. We were just trying to see what was working and just kind of do it on our own and then working backwards instead of being proactive, like you said, and having digital marketing be part of the initial strategy and really investing into it up front. So that way you can see the evolution of it because you're right. It's not something digital marketing cannot be done and see results in just 90 days, and
Yeah.
I think that's a misconceptions I see from brands that we work with just on the packaging. They're like, well, I want my imagery to work, across SEO and have it be part of SEM. I'm like, that's not my area of focus. I can recommend you to whoever, but we execute the packaging. We make sure we are compliant based upon the markets and the countries you are launching into. So, yeah, but that's not something that's going to be 60 to 90 days. Like it takes longer than 90 days just to get packaging, especially in today's, and seeing what's approved for your formulations and making sure testing is done, so it's a whole strategy for that. So I just wanted to share that from my own personal experience with digital marketing that I've thought about as an afterthought, but now it's something that is at the beginning of everything that we do because it's so important and we're driving and creating so much content. Like the podcast is content, and we get to learn from powerhouses like on how to be better, more effective, not only for us, but also for our viewers and our listeners as well. So thank you for sharing that because and you shared three of them, and I think those are things that brands really don't think about. They're like, oh, I just need the product right now. Oh, I don't have a sales strategy. Oh, I don't have a marketing strategy because those are different. Or I don't have an advertising strategy. So, which leads me back around to your experience at the radio station because I want to ask you this question. So, since you're in digital marketing space and have your firm, Social Butterfly Haven, and you also leverage your experience working at the radio station, do you still believe in the power of radio campaigns as part of advertising? Or do you think that that market has slowed down since there's so much digital marketing space and digital advertising space that brands can leverage?
Okay, marketing is a very broad niche,
Yeah.
right? I'm just focused on an aspect of marketing, which is the digital marketing. There is the offline marketing. I sincerely believe that, for example, in fractional CMO services, we're not just looking at the digital marketing aspect, right? I am also always going to look at the offline marketing aspects, right? So I'm also talking of things not just about radio, not just radio now. We are looking at things like your local marketing. Even in digital marketing, there are influencer marketing campaigns that are localized, especially for businesses that like salons, med spas that are location driven, right? So it is localized. So you have to, for this type of businesses, offline marketing strategies come into play. Radio comes into play as well. And as a business, before you utilize radio as part of your marketing strategy, you have to also think about your target audience. Are they the kind of people that listen to radio all the time? If they are not, then you might as well pass, right? If, for instance, you have a salon and you're a beauty salon owner or a med spa owner, and yes, you want to drive more foot traffic in your local area, you have to think from your target audience, understanding of who your target customer is. Are they the kind of people that tune in on radio? Even if they are driving, do they listen to the radio? So when you answer that question, you'll be able to know, okay, radio is going to give me good ROI or it's not going to give me good ROI. But if you're in a stage of your business where brand awareness is your primary focus, you want everybody to know that you are around, like your business exists, whether they're your target audience or not, you don't really care. You just want people to know, oh, there's this salon here, they do this, they do that, right? Then you can use radio. So again, brings me to what I said earlier. It depends on one, an understanding of your target audience and your goal at that particular point in time so that you don't waste money. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. And I appreciate you for, helping to differentiate like the two tracks,
Yeah.
especially with the other service that you offer as a fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, for those who don't know the acronym, because there is a lot of things to consider and a lot of strategies and what is the goal and the client and where are you located? Are you 100% remote versus, and excuse me, 100% remote and offering products D2C, direct to consumer? Or do you have a local spot that's a med spa, a salon, etc.? So it requires a lot of strategy, to really curate the right approach and also having to tailor it as well as the brand is evolving and as you're tracking your analytics and the metrics. So last question for you before we wrap up for today's episode, or maybe two more, depending upon time. But the question I want to ask you is, you talk about being a beauty tech enthusiast and you see the power of AI and how that's really being optimized by everybody. So from your experience, what is the merge or really the conversion of using and leveraging AI in digital marketing efforts for brands?
Okay. So when you hear the name beauty tech just means leveraging technology in beauty. These technologies, you have AI, which is artificial intelligence, you have virtual reality, you have your augmented reality, you have your virtual try-ons. There are already brands and businesses that are doing that. So an example of something really, we can relate to easily when it comes to beauty tech is there are some websites, for instance, NAS Cosmetics, when I wanted to shop a foundation on their website, they had a virtual try-on where in front of a natural lighting, it took the dimensions of my face. It was able to recommend my perfect foundation shade. That is introducing tech in beauty. Now, at the forefront of introducing tech in beauty, there are two main things and advantages you get as a business owner. One, you're able to get enough data field information about your customers and about your consumers. And then secondly, customer satisfaction. Do you know how easy it was for me and how satisfied I felt after shopping that foundation shade on the website? And I didn't have to go walk into a beauty supply store and have my shade taken and probably they've run out of my shade, things like that. I was able to do that on the website. So I was a satisfied customer and I've recommended it to so many people, right? So customer satisfaction. And then tech in beauty helps you to gather a lot of data that would help you continue to understand your audience better, because understanding your customer is a continuous journey, because we human beings change, right? Our interests change. So same thing as the data. So an example of that is in email marketing. Leveraging AI, for instance, in email marketing to segment your customers across based on their behaviors on your website, based on the things that they are like. With AI, you're able to predict, okay, based on this customer's purchase history, that they are going to like this, or it's now time, we've nurtured this customer to the point that we can now recommend this or that to the customer. So in email marketing, for example, one of the platforms I love to use is Klaviyo. Klaviyo has a lot of really good AI tools that help to automatically segment your audience based on their customer journeys, their behaviors. So that is one way that businesses can leverage AI in beauty, right? Another way is AI beauty is your Google Analytics, for instance. It's now evolved, it's now advanced. That is the beauty of tech in beauty, right? Another beauty of tech in beauty is advanced skin analysis. So there are, for instance, if you go to aesthetic clinics or med spas or dermatology clinics, there are now machines that put your face in, is able to even analyze your skin condition. Like I said earlier, at the forefront of it is customer satisfaction and gathering enough data to understand your customers more. So, for instance, when you step into that skin analysis machine, it's able to, as you become a recurring client of that clinic, and maybe that clinic is treating a condition you have, AI is gathering data about this particular customer. So that machine is able to recommend products with certain ingredients that can target the skin condition of that person. So that is why I love tech in beauty, and it's something I'm so enthusiastic about because of the future of it. Like, there is actually more that is coming in it. There's a lot of personalization that comes with tech in beauty that I love so much. And as a marketer, someone in digital marketing, it makes me so excited because it gives me rich data, almost near perfect data, to be able to tailor marketing strategies to. You're able to, instead of going through a large series of numbers, you're able to say this data is based on history of this customer, their customer journey. So yes, that's why I love beauty tech, how businesses can leverage it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And beauty tech is has definitely evolved, over the past 10 years, but really even the past 5 years, because now you can do it on your phone, just
Mm-hmm.
because of the cameras are more optimized, they're better, to be able to do that. Like, I remember I took a cosmetic science course, and one of the tools that we were looking at was Cetaphil, how they can do a skin analysis to see which areas of your skin needs more hydration and what products that they will recommend, to even Curology. Curology is backed by tech,
Yeah.
for which products is really curated based upon your need or the problem that you're incurring, involving with your skin. So, like you said, beauty tech is definitely great, and it's a great way to leverage it. We're even looking at how to leverage AI, and it is incorporated from the packaging, manufacturing, and development standpoint, and even in the recycling aspect of it. So that could be part of the effective marketing strategy, how the products and the packaging is sustainable and how it gets back into the circular economy, to even project management. A lot of my tools like Smartsheet, we have AI incorporated into that to give me data quicker, to see where's the gaps, how we can optimize, possibly moving faster, or what are the risks that we're highlighting based upon the logic that's built in behind the scenes. So, to your point, technology is here and we have to evolve with the technology, but it gives us real data that
Yeah.
we're able to use and substantiate, for the recommendations we offer to our clients. So I love hearing that from you. So as as we're wrapping up for today, you have your agency, Social Butterfly Haven. You also serve as a fractional CMO, and you also have a digital marketing school underneath your agency as well. What should our listeners know about your respective companies and the umbrellas you offer, and how they can check it out, to learn more about your services and your expertise as well?
Okay, so Social Butterfly Haven is a digital marketing agency for beauty and wellness brands. So in Social Butterfly Haven, we help beauty and wellness businesses that either scaling. They can be launching new products, new offers, new businesses, small businesses as well. So we help them with digital marketing services so that they can focus on other areas of their business and have peace of mind. So one thing that makes us very unique is that I am focused in the beauty and wellness industry. I understand the psychographic of beauty consumers. It's one thing to go to a digital marketing agency that offers services to every industry, and it's another thing to come to an agency that understands how the everyday beauty consumer thinks, the psychographic, because marketing in a way is psychology, marketing in a way is emotional. So in my beauty awareness agency, we work with makeup brands, makeup, skincare, hair care, med spas, aesthetic clinics, plastic surgery clinics, lash technicians, beauty salons. In the wellness space as well, we work with, like I said earlier, aesthetic clinics, mental health initiatives, clinics and apps anything that has to do with beauty and overall wellness, supplements, and fitness. We work with those brands to help them reach their target audience online. Then I have a digital marketing school. So I have a lot of, because I believe that there are a lot of beauty business, not just beauty businesses, there are a lot of businesses springing up that are innovative, bringing out real world solutions that would help a lot of people. But the thing is that we have a skill problem where these businesses are not able to access people with skills that are passionate about digital marketing, that approach marketing from a psychology standpoint, to help them reach and reach their audiences and drive that impact that they want to drive. So in my digital marketing school, I am training the next generation of Gen Zs and Gen Alphas to build a career in digital marketing. So digital marketing, I always have a problem with someone that comes to say, oh, I want to take a course on digital marketing. And I'm like, no, there is no one course that can handle all of digital marketing. Digital marketing is broad. So you can start with one area of digital marketing, maybe like email marketing, and then expand. As you grow, you can expand. The reason I can call myself a digital marketing strategist is because I am vast in social media marketing. I know email marketing, I can do copywriting, and these are things that have taken me years over time to hone one after the other. So in my digital marketing school, I help up and coming marketers get into it. And then finally, as a fractional CMO, I help businesses that have scattered marketing efforts to bring their marketing into a cohesive strategy and help them execute as well. So my packages are structured in such a way that I come to meet you where you are in your business. So if you're just starting, maybe your business is in the idea stage and you don't know how to launch, the package is tailored in such a way that it gives you clarity on how to get off the ground. Then there is a package for businesses that are scaling, and there are packages for big businesses that maybe have marketing employees in their marketing team, but they need a strategist, a CMO, someone to come in and lead their team in an effective digital marketing strategy. So with the fractional CMO service, I utilize a lot of my strategic thinking skills and people management skills a lot to bring these services to my clients. So this is essentially what Social Butterfly Haven Marketing School, which is for short called SBH Marketing School, and my services as a fractional